Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1272, written by NMS GTB 0308. The Guardian Angel on 4 Legs. Back in 2008, I lived near my college in an apartment. My apartment was set back from the main road quite a bit and was in a wooded and hilly area. One night, I was out running near sundown. I'm at the bottom of a hill that's behind my apartment, so it was near the end of my run. I look up ahead at the top of the hill and notice 3 guys on bikes just sitting there. Being a 20-year-old female, my spidey senses started tingling. I tell myself I'm psyching myself out and it'll be fine, so I keep running. I'm about halfway up the hill. The 3 guys are still just sitting there, facing my direction. I don't have a phone or anything, and nowhere else to go, so I tell myself I'll just run as hard as I can and scream if I need to. Suddenly, I hear something coming up beside me. I look to my right and see a German Shepherd. He's running alongside me. I've never seen this dog before in my life. I can't explain it, but I just knew I'd be okay now. I continued running up the hill with this random dog beside me. When we're approaching the guys, this dog gets slightly ahead of me and runs directly in front of me instead of to my right. He gets to the guys and stops dead in his tracks. I continue running and pass the guys without even making eye contact. Once I'm past the guys, the dog catches back up to me and continues running alongside me. He stays with me until I take the turn into my apartment's very well lit parking lot. He disappears into the trees as quickly as he appeared. I took that route at the same exact time every single day for weeks and would drive down that road often, hoping to come across him again. No luck. I never saw him again. My friends are all convinced he was a guardian angel making sure I stayed safe. I'm not really a believer, so I don't know, but it's the most creepy, bizarre, and awesome thing to ever happen to me. Case file 1272. The Guardian Angel on 4 Legs. The good boy Guardian Angel. I could see that. Sounds like a protective act that Mr. Ben would engage in as well. He always bangs his head on the wall, but he always knows the best time to ask for food as well, so smart and dumb. In this case, was the Guardian Angel embodied in the dog? A type of angelic spirit that possessed the dog? Or maybe rather directed the dog still in free will towards you somehow? I'm not sure. I suppose it's unknowable. But what is knowable is that you do have someone looking out for you. Now keep in mind, this doesn't mean you can never be harmed. But it does mean that we aren't as defenseless as it can often feel like. Not as alone. That's a comforting thought. Case file number 1273, written by NovaBooBear. Maybe I'm already dead? My father passed away over this past winter after a long battle with leukemia. He and I were close, and he actually passed away when my fiancé and I were having some issues, and I decided to spend the night at my parents' house. He had wanted me to handle everything when he passed, so that my mother wouldn't have to. He knew she'd be a mess, and knew I could still maintain a strong exterior even when being an emotional wreck on the inside. So weirdly, it felt like he waited until I was there, and unfortunately, the image of him lifeless the next morning is something I don't know if I'll ever get over. Anyway, I decided to stay with my mother for a while, through the holidays at least, to help her adjust to being alone for the first time in 50+ years. I was staying in one bedroom that was upstairs. She still slept in her bedroom on the main floor. My partner and I were still having issues, so I wasn't sleeping well. I was up late most nights and just stressed from all the angles. Was also out of work at the time and stressing about interviews. One night while I'm laying in bed watching TV, I get a text alert. When I look at my phone, I have a message from my mother that reads, "I know you're here with me." That seemed like an odd 3 a.m. text, so I replied, "Are you okay?" I didn't get a reply, so I decided to go downstairs and check on her. She was sleeping in her bedroom, snoring away. I was weirded out but figured I'd ask her in the morning if she remembered messaging me and then immediately falling asleep. Before heading back upstairs, I went into the kitchen to grab some water, and while passing through the living room, I saw her phone charging on a side table. I grabbed my water and went back upstairs to double check the timestamp on the message, thinking maybe it actually come through earlier or something, maybe some kind of delay, and in the morning I asked my mother about it, and she had no idea what I was talking about. She went and grabbed her phone from the living room and seemed to be as freaked out as I was. We kind of laughed it off awkwardly and said it was my dad reaching out from beyond the grave and left it at that. But it's always bothered me, the way it was worded. If my dead father were to text me, wouldn't it be, "Just know I'm here with you," or "I'll always be with you," something along those lines. But instead it said, "I know you're here with me," as if I've died too, or am soon going to. Or it read like something a living person would say to the dead. I've thought maybe he's in another timeline now where the family is all together. I just don't know. I think about this often because I have no explanation for receiving the text since the phone was in a room alone when I received a message from it, and even resolving to it being delivered much later than it was sent, I do believe my mother in her confusion about it. She didn't send it. She doesn't use her cell phone much anyway, and was using it even less because she was overwhelmed by people calling that, and the house phone to check in on her. Just needed to get this off my chest and see if there's any other interesting theories about what it might have meant. Maybe I'm dead. Maybe my dad is alive in an alternate universe. Case notes for file 1273. Maybe I'm already dead? There is real trouble in communication from the other side. I don't think you die and then pop into a temporary, ethereal plane of existence sitting at a computer or with a phone. Your father had to figure out a way to message you, and maybe it was with automated phone prompts that he could cobble together, which is why it sounded a bit off. But just enough like him to make you wonder, to give you that kind of sign. I'm still of the opinion that your father's soul is lingering behind. It is but a mere fragment of it, a small chunk that isn't sentient as you and I are, because the bulk of the soul makes a transit over to a new universe where he never died. Over there he showed leukemia who's the real boss. If that's the case, this simple soul morsel of your father accomplished his task, letting you know there's more going on than meets the eye. Death isn't the finality most think it is. If that's all he wanted, I think his energy dissipated away fully in that moment, and now he only exists as a full soul in that other universe. In fact, maybe the soul fragments that linger behind don't dissipate, but instead reunite with the full soul in the quantum immortality spectrum, back in the other universe, but only after their purpose here is completed. So soul vanishes from our universe, but they don't dissipate. I like that idea. And now time for the question of the day. If one wish of yours could come true, what would it be? So speaking purely as a selfish wish, not curing cancer or noble causes like that, I'd have to go with the ability to fly. The travel opportunities would be beyond comprehension. That said, I'd have to bundle up because it gets kinda cold up there. Unless I travel slowly, I'd also have to have a whole getup, like goggles and everything, because when you travel fast, the wind makes it so you can't even breathe. I remember skydiving and going at 120 miles an hour towards the planet. You can't breathe at all. It's kind of terrifying. So there's that to keep in mind. But yeah, the ability to just pick up, fly wherever I wanted to. No need for a driver's license then, or an e-bike that can't go fast enough. I mean, you got super strength and all those things, but I think I'd just go with flying. Just take a vacation overseas. Gotta stay low to avoid the radar though, as Iron Man found out. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.